When God tells you it's time to go, it's time to go. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm really excited because I'm going to be doing a girl talk. I have not done a girl talk video in so long, y'all. Like, where I've just sat down, been transparent, just really got into the nitty-gritty, just talked to y'all. I haven't done that in so long. I do have a few questions that I was asked on Instagram. I made a poll like almost a month ago asking for questions, just kind of like about an update video. One of the biggest things that I really want to talk about in this video is the reality of moving to a new state freshly out of college, the reality of taking a leap of faith and, you know, making a very life-changing decision, and what really all comes with that. Because a lot of people, you know, they don't know what really comes with it. I think a lot of people, even with myself personally, they think that my life is like something so extreme than what it is, because I carry everything that I do and everything that I've been through in my life very well, but I'm also a human being and I go through real things, I feel real emotions, and life is not perfect, you know. So despite how it may seem, despite how it may be perceived, like, far from it. I've had a lot of people message me on Instagram or just socials in general about wanting to move to New York and how did I do it and how do I feel now that I'm here, and I want to get into all of that in today's video. Let's get into it. If you are someone that's new to my channel, hi, my name is Zharia'Elizabeth, or you can just call me Zaria. I am 22 years old and I recently moved to New York City about 4 months ago. I work in the fashion industry, and yeah, I'm a recent college graduate and I'm living in my 20s. That's what I'm doing. The first question I got was, hey babe, how are you doing? Really? Adding a really at the end of that is it's very necessary, because yeah, how are we really doing? I will be honest with you guys. For one, I want to start off by saying I'm blessed, I'm here, I'm alive. I am so grateful to be where I am in my life right now, even with everything that I'm experiencing right now. And I can't talk on something specifically that I really want to, but given the way that I go about the situation, I will speak on it, and I have a testimony for you guys that I am very excited to share if I'm given the opportunity to, but it's a lot more specific, like it's a lot more detailed than that, so I can't really say too much. But if you knew, you knew. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I can't even really complain, because I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful that God has given me the life that I have, that God has given me the experiences and the opportunities that I have. Like, even when I'm not okay, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I truly and wholeheartedly believe that. I will be honest, the last few months for me have not been the best. I have experienced a lot since moving here. I have cut ties with people that were really close to me. I have had to learn how to navigate a new city by myself. I've been trying to build new relationships, and one of the biggest things that I've been praying for is community, because I don't really have a community here. You know, I did move here not too long ago, so still trying to figure out my ways to like meet new friends and meet new people and get myself out there and find that sense of community that like I've always admired and I've always learned to like yearn to have. A lot of things have happened with myself in the past few months, just trying to get adjusted. I, you know, moved here with a new job, and that was a whole thing, like just getting adjusted to that. And then like this life in this world here is so fast paced. Like, it's literally so true what they say, New York is not like anywhere else, because everything moves like times 10 here. You don't even really have time to process what's going on because it's moving so fast. And I feel like I was kind of stuck in that for a while, where I felt like I didn't have time to think about my thoughts. Like, I had to get up and I had to go out into the world every day, and I just had to do it, you know. And mentally that kind of does a little something to you, you know. It definitely, it's hard when you're trying to also be in tune with yourself, but you can't because of the world that you're just in, you know. So I think that is something that I've been trying to grasp. I think also, like, and I'm not really one to get homesick, but I think from recent events that's happened, that again, I'm not talking on too much now, but trust me, I will when and if I can in a future video. But I miss my family, I miss my mom, I miss my brother. He's off to college, and like as a big sister, just watching my younger sibling like just go after his dreams and be enjoying his experience, like I love that for him. Like, it's just so much happening. Like, when I decided to move to New York City, first of all, I decided that I wanted to move to New York City a year ago. The feeling that I had from being here last summer was unmatched. I just knew that New York is where I'm supposed to be. It's what's calling me, and I made it my destiny to do everything in my power to make sure that I could get back here after I graduated. And that's exactly what I did. With the grace of God, of course, I wouldn't be here without him. I wouldn't have the feeling from the Holy Spirit without him. Like, I truly feel like this is a place that's called me, but it wasn't going to be easy. God never said it was going to be easy. He never said I was going to come here and it was going to be all sunshine and rainbows. And I think because I live here now too, and I'm not just like visiting for a few months, things are a lot different now. When you are deciding or you're thinking of moving to a new state, keep in mind that if you visit that state and you may fall in love with it from being there for a few days or a few weeks or a few months, that is great, and you'll probably still have that feeling even when you do move there. But just know that I think a lot of people, they move from their hometown because they're like, in a sense, not running from something, but they're running from something. They want to run towards something, and they think that being in a different environment is going to change that. Now, on one end, that is true. You're in a new environment, you're around new people, it's a new way of living and everything. So of course, everything has to change. Inside of you is still there, you know. You can't run from yourself until you deal with yourself. You can't run from the things that the habits and the bad, you know, the whatever feelings you had prior. Just because you moved to a different state, it's not going to change that unless you do the actual work to make that happen. I'm tying in the point of this video with also the questions. Like, there's so much that goes into just deciding to up and leave out of your hometown and move to a different city, you know. So we'll talk more about that in a second. But to answer your question, girl, I'm okay, I'm alive, I'm well, I'm blessed, and I'm happy. I'm true. I can wholeheartedly and honestly say that. The next question is, what's one of the biggest things you've learned since graduating? I have learned so much since I've graduated college. Was it 4 months ago? May, April, June, July, August, September, October, November. It's been 6 months. It's been 6 months. I'm saying 4 months. It was 6 months ago. I have learned a lot. Where do I even begin? Did she ask, what have I learned? What's one of the biggest things you've learned? It doesn't stop. The world doesn't stop. Like, and I think I knew that even prior to coming here and even prior to graduating, but now that I'm actually out of the house, I'm on my own in a sense. Like, well, no, first of all, I'm never on my own. I always have God in my family, but I'm, you know, I'm supplying for myself. I'm doing all those things. Like, it never stops. Even when things happen to you, you literally have no choice but to keep going. And I just had an experience that is very life-changing, like very life-changing. It was very out of nowhere. It was very traumatic, I would say. And I have to still get up and keep going. Like, the world doesn't stop. And I think when we're in college, when you're in school, you have a safety net on you. I've always said that. College, high school, middle school, all of those things, school in general, you have a safety net around you that you don't realize you have until you're not in school anymore. It's okay when you tell someone, they're like, oh, what are you doing? Like, oh, I'm in school. Being in school is just enough. But if someone asks you, what do you do, and you don't have anything that you're doing, and you're just like, well, I'm just like, that's not a thing, you know. Like, there's so much more to life that we don't see when you're in school and when you're a student. So for my students that are out there, really take in the college experience, take in that safety net that you have, because once it's gone, it's gone, and it doesn't come back. It doesn't come back. And there's beauty in that too. There's beauty in growing up. There's beauty in, you know, going to a different direction and graduating and all of that. But just know, like, life does not stop. It doesn't stop for anybody or anything. In hard times, how do you lean more on God? I love this question because, again, I literally just experienced one of the biggest, hardest times of my life, and the way that I was able to lean on God was, honestly, I sit so still in my faith. I know deep in my heart I am covered by him. I know that God has a purpose and a plan for me. I know that everything that I've done up until this point in my life has led me to where I am right now. And I know that even in the midst of hard times, he is always there. And I think it's also a matter of perception. There are hard times in life, like, just generally speaking, yes, but to me and to God, everything has a lesson behind it. So even though in this moment it may seem like I'm dealing with so much and this is, you know, such a big thing that's happening to me, there's a beauty in it as well. The ending, and I learned this during a sermon that I watched 2 weeks ago when I went to church, one of the biggest takeaways that I had was them saying, don't sit too much in your ending. You have to be ready to walk into your entrance and sit more into your entrance than you're willing to sit into your ending. The thing is that when bad things happen to us, or when we're forced to move, we gotta move. Like, when God tells you it's time to go, it's time to go. Whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in a, you know, in a job, whether that's in a friendship, when he tells you to move, it's time to move. Now, if you decide to stay or not, that's completely up to you, and we have that free will to do that. But understand that God's will be done. Period. Like, that is, I wholeheartedly believe that God's will be done. And so by you ignoring what he's telling you to do, or by you, you know, not accepting what is going on in your life in that time and moment, you're only prolonging the benefit that he plans for you to receive. God doesn't do anything to us intentionally to hurt us. He's never trying to hurt us. But sometimes you have to experience things to gain those new experiences and to have that wisdom. And that's one thing that I've been learning too in Proverbs. Like, wisdom is so important. Like, knowledge and just having general wisdom in so many areas is so important. And it's something that not a lot of people have and can obtain maturely, but it's crucial and pivotal in your development as a person and as someone that's walking through Christ also. I love God, and I know that God loves me, and I believe. I'm just a believer, like, period. I think that's how I've been able to get through tough times in my life. I've experienced a lot in my life that no one would ever know, because again, I handle it very well and I carry it with poise. But I know that deep down that God would never leave me. I know that he has, again, not led me this far to leave me now, and I just sit confident in that. And that's something that, like, you really can't teach. Only God can give that to you. And I think that when people ask me, how do you do it, and it's like, my answer is always never going to change. It's always going to be God. And once you really know God and you understand the God that you serve, and you understand the purpose that he has over your life, you can sit content in anything. You could lose everything and still be content, because you know that God got you. Like, that's the kind of faith that I have. So that is, I guess, what I would say. As far as, you know, in hard times, how do I lean on God? I pray, I cry my eyes out, I sit and I dwell in my, you know, my sadness for a little bit of time. I give myself that grace to feel my emotions. But when he says it's time to get up, it's time to get up. And then I just have to do it, even with tears in my eyes. Like, sometimes that's what we have to do. How has it been adjusting to where you are now? Like I mentioned a little bit already before, it has not been easy. My life now is so different in a way that I don't even really know what's going on some of the times. I'm just going with the motions. I'm just here. But no, it's been hard. Like, the first month that I was here, I found it really hard to, again, like, just feel a sense of, like, community, find, you know, what works for me. I got so immersed into my job that, like, I also steered away from my passion, which is creating. And I don't want to ever allow that to happen, because yes, I do work in corporate America. I do have a 9-to-5 job, which many of you may know, many of you may not know. But this is also something I'm very passionate about as well. I love recording. I have a book. I want to work on my second book. Like, I like modeling. There's so many other things that I enjoy doing that I don't ever want to just leave my life to just be set on doing one thing. I know that God didn't make me who I am to only do one thing in this world. Like, I just know that. At first, it was really hard for me to just kind of figure out my sway and my flow, and I'm still figuring it out. I still don't know. Like, I think every day, honestly, is so different. But again, I just pray, and I just, you know, I pray and I pray and I pray and I pray, and I wait. Because when God is ready to reveal whatever it is for me, he's going to give it to me. And I just try to lean on his understanding and not my own, and understand that whatever I'm going through or whatever I'm having challenges with, just looking at the deep, like, really trying to unravel that and look at the deeper meaning to it, and see how I can really apply that in the most proactive and positive way possible. But honestly, you guys, it's going to take time before I get adjusted to being here. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 3 months. It's probably not even going to happen in a year. But I think every single day I just try my best to wake up and walk with purpose, and know that eventually at one point in time I will feel like, okay, I'm here and I'm adjusted to it. But it's going to take time. This is all new to me. Every day is new. People are new. Experiences are new. So it doesn't happen overnight, and I want people to know that when they decide to move to a new state, because this is a big city. There's a lot of people here, and you can feel like the most alone in this space because of so much that's going on. People, like, are always kind of like, really, when I say that? But, like, yes, there's so much happening, and there's so many people. You can feel like the most alone here versus being somewhere where there's not a lot of people, you know, and it's not as busy as it is here. So it's a work in progress, we'll say that. What advice would you give younger Zaria with the knowledge you have now? Advice that I would give to younger Zaria would be, back to my point earlier, when God tells you to move, okay? In every area, when he tells you to move. Be graceful with yourself. I put a lot on myself when I was younger, just because, you know, I'm the first person in my family to actually take that leap of faith and leave my hometown. My family is originally from Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, and my great-grandparents moved to Cleveland, Ohio back in the 60s. My mom was born in Cleveland, I was born in Cleveland and everything, but my family's from, like, my mom's side of the family is from Ohio, Alabama. So I'm the first person to actually like leave Cleveland, and that comes with a lot of challenges. It comes with a lot of weight because everyone's looking at me to be the one to do it and to be the one to sustain it, and that's a lot on its own when I'm also dealing with the pressure of just myself on myself, you know, because now there's other people that are expecting all these things from you also, on top of you putting the expectations on yourself. So definitely something that like I knew I wanted to be the one to do that. I wanted to be the one to like not just settle for a life that I was given, but make a life that I want for myself. And I'm very proud of myself for all that I have accomplished thus far. I haven't done everything and I haven't accomplished everything, but for 22 years old I have done a lot, and it's because I've just been so proactive on what I want out of life and listening to what God also wants to give me. So I would say to myself just to be more graceful, not to be so hard on myself, because everything always works itself out. Like, it literally always works itself out. It's so cliche, everybody says it, but it's literally the truth. And to just wait and be patient and not try to rush things if they don't need to be rushed. Like, really just enjoy my experiences and not be so fixated on the next thing, because there's always going to be a next thing. There's always going to be something after the other thing. But I think because I'm noticing as I'm older too that life moves so fast, you have to enjoy the moment. Just enjoying life and to just not be so hard on myself and know that God got me. He always has and he always will. And I don't really gotta do, I mean, I gotta do some work, of course, obviously we have to do work, but at the end of the day, he has final say. So I don't have to stress myself out over things because he's going to work them out. The next question that I got was, how do you stay consistent on YouTube plus your full-time job? Well, considering I haven't posted in like 3 weeks, I am definitely not as consistent as I would like to be. And that's something that I do struggle with and I do get very frustrated with myself about, because I want to be consistent. I want to post and be as proactive as possible, but it is hard when you work in corporate America. There's a YouTuber that I really look up to. Her name is Alexis. I don't know her last name, but she's always like, hey y'all. One thing I really admired about her, I don't think she's in corporate America anymore, but she used to, and she used to do that full-time while also being a full-time content creator, and she was like consistent with it. Like, she was posting, you know, every single week. She had a schedule, and I want to be proactive in that way as well and just find out what works for me. I think I sit on a lot of my own potential, and I'm really at the point now where I'm getting fed up with myself. I'm like, girl, you have to cut it out. Like, just do it. So here I am trying to just do it. I just got the urge to start recording and I just started doing it, and I'm going to edit right after this, so I don't even give myself time to sit on it. I'm not as consistent as I would like to be. I would like to be more consistent. I want to more so be, my biggest goals when it comes to my content as a whole, whether that's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, I want to be consistent and I want to build community. I don't really care about having a big number of followers if those followers aren't interacting with me, if they don't genuinely, like, you know, want to stick around and see my videos and they're pumped for them and they're the ones that are also pushing me like, hey girl, like, where the videos at? And I do have a lot of y'all that do that as well, which I really appreciate. But I think I just want to build like more of a community, and I want to just be focusing on consistency, because if you nurture consistency, things are bound to work out. Like, you can't be consistent at something and like you'll never see but like growth or benefits. You will. Like, that's just, it's like literally the cheat code to it. So once I can master that, who knows what God has in store for me. But I gotta be disciplined and I have to hold myself accountable. I think to anyone, just find a schedule that works for you, and consistency looks different to everybody. For some people it may be, you know, every single day. That's consistency. For other people it may be like every week on the same day, that same, you know, every single week on that same day. I mean, consistency can be anything. I think as long as you're doing something, you're doing something, you know, and being able to hold yourself accountable and also be honest with yourself when you know that you could be doing more and you're not. Because one of the biggest things, and I've been saying this too, it's not enough to just know that you can do better and you don't do it. Like, you are quite literally holding yourself back, and that goes on every area of life. Like, when you know better, you should do better, period, point blank. It's like, there's just no reasoning as to why one should know and they just don't. I apply that even to myself. I know I can be more consistent. I know I have, you know, a ton. The biggest reason, another reason why I want to come to New York is because of the inspiration that I get when I'm here and all the opportunities to record and stuff like that, and I'm not utilizing them. So I am not utilizing my resources also. So it's like, again, it just goes back to the accountability, consistency, and just being as proactive and productive as possible to whatever that means to you. Figure out what that means to you. It doesn't have to be the same thing as what it means to the next person and what their lifestyle looks like. Whatever that is to you, figure that out and then just stick with it. That's it. Again, I'm telling that to myself also because I need to clearly get with the program. Where do you plan on moving next? You know, I haven't really thought about that because I'm still trying to get adjusted to being here. I haven't even been here. Well, I've been here for 4 months. So I think I need to be here for at least a year to really see where, you know, what that looks like. I definitely don't, like, I know for me, New York is not a place I want to live like for the rest of my life. I'm young, in my 20s, and I think right now it's like a fun place. The industry that I work in is here, so of course I love that. But ideally, I think I really want to settle down like in somewhere like Texas, like Houston. I've always said like Houston, Texas. I don't know why, I've never even been to Houston, but something about Houston just like calls me. Or just somewhere in the South. Like I want to go back to something in that. But as of right now, I'm content with being in New York. I don't have any plans to moving back home or going back to Cleveland or anything like that, or even just moving anywhere right now. This is where I am for the next few, like for at least the next, I said I would stay here until like for like at least 5, like between 3 to 5 years. Maybe longer, whatever God wants, wherever I mean, I don't know, I can't predict the future and I don't really know where I will end up, but that's kind of been like my basis for everything. Sorry if the lighting is like a little bit different. First of all, number one, my apartment is like really close to, I live in New York, so yeah, that's what I hear all day every day. Now I want to kind of talk more directly just about like moving here. How did I do it? What did I have to do to make it happen? Advice that I would give to people that are trying to move out of their home state to a new state, whether that's to New York. I mean, this is going to be tailored to New York because I live in New York, but I think some of the general points can still be applied to anywhere that you plan to move, what I've experienced, and just talk a little bit more about that. So the lighting is definitely changing, y'all, so I'm really trying to wrap this video up because it keeps getting like dark and then light. Now the sun is behind me. It's a whole ordeal. We are going to finish this video. The first question that I feel like I get a lot when it comes to moving to New York and just like moving out of my home state in general is, how did I do it? It definitely takes preparation. I actually started to make like a document. I use Notion to like plan out things, and I use that to kind of document like what exactly my plan was. So number one, had to get a job here in New York, the place that you plan to move to, because in this economy, moving somewhere without, it's not happening. Okay, so definitely that was my first step, was like applying to jobs. At the time I only had applied to one job because there was only one job that I had my mind set on and I got. Once I got my offer letter from that, I knew that okay, I actually have a position here in the city that I want to live in. From that point, it was now a matter of finding roommates and finding housing. So I do feel like my process was very seamless compared to other people that I've talked to, and I do have to just give all praise to God for that. Like, honestly, it did just kind of like happen just like that, and I feel like anything that happens just like that is from God. Like, that's how I've always viewed things. My roommates that I have 2 roommates, so we live in a 3-bedroom apartment, and we met all collectively together at a networking event last summer. We all met at one time, and we didn't really like, I kept in touch with one of them and I didn't really keep in touch with the other one, but like we all followed each other on Instagram, and then we all like posted or like through word of mouth that we needed roommates, and long story short, y'all, we became roommates. So it was very swift in that sense because I didn't know them like very much, but I knew them enough to like, we're 3 black girls trying to live in New York City, we need roommates, here we are. That was kind of the ordeal for that. I know some people have looked on Facebook Marketplace for roommates. This is my first time ever living with roommates. In college, I pretty much always lived in like an apartment style like suite dorm, and like so I had a suite mate, but like we had completely different areas, like our own space that I never really had to like, I mean, I interacted with the people that I lived with before, but like I don't know, when you live in an apartment versus like just being in college, it's just different. So this is my first time like living in an apartment and having roommates. It definitely like is something to get used to and adjusted to, especially when like you've never done it before. But I think communication and just like, you know, all actively working towards the same goal is what will really help in that situation. So yeah, I would definitely say like if you're looking for roommates, depending on like what area you're trying to move to, like New York is expensive, and again, I am tearing this to New York because that's where I live now. It's very expensive to live here, and you have to have a plan. Like there has to be a plan. And then I found my roommates. After that, now we had to find a place to live, so we narrowed it down to the boroughs that we wanted to live in. So last summer when I lived here for 2 months, I lived in the Upper East Side, Manhattan, and it was nice. It was very you know, safe. It was very, you know, it was fine. I just knew I didn't want to live there when I came back, because every time I would like want to go out and stuff, I would always go to Brooklyn for parties or just like events, because more of the culture was here. And I really admire Brooklyn for like their culture, and just like where we live now, it just feels very like, it kind of feels like a little home, a little residential, like, and I really like that. It kind of reminds me, nothing really reminds me of back at home, but just the fact that I can see houses and like a school on my walk and like kids, and like, I don't know, it just reminds you of like that more suburban like residential area. So we narrowed it down to either living in Brooklyn or living in New Jersey. At the time I was contemplating on bringing my car here, because if you guys don't know, I do have a car that I left back at home because I would literally never end up driving it here, and I'm honestly too afraid of like getting into accidents or anything because of just the way that it is here in New York. But we literally just like checked like this one website vigorously for apartments. One came up that was like perfect for us. The price range was good, the location was good, and we had my roommate's mom come and tour it because she was able to like fly out to New York like that same like week. She FaceTimed us, we liked it, we applied for it, we got approved for it within 30 minutes, and we signed the papers the very next morning. So it was a very quick process, and I will say like getting an apartment here can be very quick depending on the time of the year that you're trying to find it. If it's during the summertime, which is when we were moving, a lot of people move here for internships and for jobs and stuff, so it can be very competitive. And when you see something, if you're applying, like be prepared to be ready to like pay and move, you know. And even the expenses that come with that, like you have to pay for first month's rent, deposit, security deposit. We also had to pay a broker's fee, so you know it's pricey, and it's definitely something that comes very quickly. So that's why again I say plan and prepare in advance, you know, save money on the side, have a goal, and hold yourself accountable to that, and just look out for any resources that you can. Again, maybe my advice isn't the best because I did have a very smooth transition, but I think the biggest thing is, you know, you can looking for roommates, understanding that you probably will have to have a roommate here unless you want to spend an arm and a leg for a studio apartment, and finding a neighborhood and an apartment that you really like. Again, I love our apartment. It's very modern. We are the first people to live in this apartment building. Looking and applying and being ready to sign, because the turnaround time can be very fast. I always knew I wanted to come back here. It was always something that I knew inside of me, like I meant to live in New York City. So once I had that passion, I just acted on it, honestly. The hardest challenge when it comes to moving to a new state is getting adjusted, and this is something that I'm still trying to do, and I've, you know, vocalized to you guys in this video that it's a work in progress, and I don't think I will fully be ever adjusted here because I'm not from here. You know, when I go out, people are like, oh, where are you from? Like, I'm from Cleveland. I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, it's so random. Like, anybody can move to New York, of course, but I just feel like it's something that I always have to get adjusted to. I'm still every day trying to find my feng shui and trying to find my routine and my balance, and I think just being graceful with yourself and understanding that it's not going to happen overnight. For everybody has different experiences. For some people it might, but for like me, it has been taking a little bit of some time. Not like in a super weird way. Like, I definitely have met people out here. I've had some great experiences. As time goes on, more and more I gain more of that, but I think it's just knowing that it is going to take time. There's a lot of days where I feel very alone. There's a lot of days where I feel like I don't know, I won't say if I don't know if I belong here, because I do feel like I do belong here, but it does kind of make you question that because there's so much happening and I'm not used to this environment. I'm used to living where I'm from, and things are just so different there. And so yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like, and I think people have this perception that when you move to a new, they're like, oh, vibe, like what's it like, it's like POV, like you moved, like just moved to a new city or something I seen on like Twitter or whatever. But like, in theory it sounds fun, and it is, but there is a lot that comes with it mentally, and honestly, even to most that I can't even really explain verbally. Like, it's one of those things that until you experience it, you really don't understand and you really won't get it. I think to anyone out there that is wanting to move to a new city, wanting to move to a new state, go for it. Like, truly just go for it. Don't think twice about it. You know, plan and pray and you will be perfectly fine. I think the biggest thing is getting, you know, depending on what your field of work is, get a job here. Once you get a job here, honestly, I feel like everything else kind of falls in place. And even the job market, I know I've heard from a lot of people, it's, you know, everyone has their own experience with it depending on the industry that you're in. You know, it's not always the best, but honestly, again, I just reel it back into God, pray, and if it's meant for you to be where you want to go, you will be there. Like, nothing will get in the way of you obtaining what you want if it's really and truly what God like wants for your life. So I just don't worry about that, and I just try my best to stay true to what I feel and what I feel like he's telling to me and what he's trying to speak to me, and that has kept me here thus far. So yeah, I would say that's pretty much like a gist of, you know, how it's been being here in New York City. Even this past weekend, like I went out to celebrate one of my friend's birthday that I met like we worked together, and like even that, like I met so many people. Like I just think having new experiences to meet people and like has been really nice. I think when I first got here I was very reluctant on like going out and stuff. The sun is like going down, y'all, but I was really reluctant on like going out. I very much like stayed in the house all the time just because I don't know, honestly I had a lot of other stuff going on, like that it was just hard for me to like really immerse myself back into this state of being here, because it is so different. Like I can't express it enough. Once you really allow yourself to like relax, put your shoulders back a little bit and just take in all that this is, it's great. I love that I can just go out and meet people, and I love that like the part about New York, my favorite part about being here is just all the people that you meet. Everybody has a different story, everybody has a different goal, everybody has a different passion, and I love just like talking to people, having organic conversations, and just genuinely getting to know people. That's when like I'm just a people person in that way, and I get to see that a lot the most with me being here. But yeah, that is all I have for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, this little girl talk chit chat, you know, about moving to a new city, how life has been for me, a life update, all of the things. I definitely want to do more of these videos moving forward. I definitely want to do more girl talks and more just talking videos in general. So if you guys have things that you want to hear from me, or if you have, you know, topics that you want me to talk on, definitely let me know down below if you guys enjoyed today's video. I do apologize for the lighting. I'm telling y'all, like it literally gets dark. It is literally 4 o'clock. It's about to be 4 o'clock right now. Like it's 3:58. The sun just went, like it's going down right now. Like as you've seen, the sun has changed throughout the time that I've been filming this video. Nevertheless, here we are. She's still going to get posted and edited, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. If you do have any more questions or any more direct questions on like my journey and my experience and, you know, getting to where I am and like just living here and moving out of your hometown, please feel free to comment them or DM me on Instagram. But this has kind of been like my experience thus far and just how I've been able to navigate it. At the end of the day, what is for you is for you. Nothing that you do will take you off of the path that God has for you. I will say this a million times over. There is no need to stress over anything in your life, because God has you and he would never leave you. And I can't express enough how much comfort just knowing that gives me. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. I will see you guys next time in another one, and yeah, bye. Mwah.